Welcome to Impact OC, the only program showcasing the people and organizations shaping Orange County. With your host, Don Camber.
Hello, live from the OC Talk Radio studios at UCI's Beal Applied Innovation Center. I'm OC Talk Radio Public Affairs Director Don Camber with another great guest positively impacting our community. Today, I welcome Orange County Business Council President and CEO Jeff Ball. The Orange County Business Council represents and promotes the business community, working with government and academia to enhance the economic development of Orange County, which is the nation's 6th largest county. Thank you, Jeff, for being on Impact OC.
Thanks, Don. Great to be here.
Jeff, what are the types of businesses that are Orange County Business Council members?
Don, we have an amazing portfolio of member companies. We refer to them as investors because they invest in our organization. But almost every industry that you see as part of our Orange County economy is represented in the Business Council. We have builders, we have hotel operators, restaurants, healthcare, we have nonprofits, we have government agencies, and everybody coming to the table focused on the issues and the opportunities for Orange County.
Well, what are the initiatives which members work together to maintain Orange County's economic vitality?
So the focus of our organization is economic development for Orange County, and we want to achieve that economic development while enhancing this high standard quality of life that we all enjoy that makes Orange County so special. And that in and of itself is a big mission. Economic development in Orange County almost feels natural at times because of the many abundant resources and businesses that we already have operating here. But to do it in a way that enhances quality of life, working from the basis that we have, is important. So our initiatives to achieve that economic development are really focused around 3 areas. The first one is workforce, having an adequate workforce that the business community and the overall economy will need in order to be able to sustain and grow the way we would like to. And not just the development of workforce, but also the retention of that workforce. The second major initiative within that is housing, which is our number one crisis in Orange County. We just simply do not have enough supply of housing, and that has a significant impact on our ability to grow, as well as this desire to enhance the quality of life. And then the third area is infrastructure. And with infrastructure, we're talking about everything from highways and transit to energy, water, wastewater, broadband, all of the things that our residents and businesses depend on to be able to operate. And we want infrastructure that is efficient and reliable so that it can support that continued growth.
Let's talk about housing as your initiative. What are you doing to try to have more housing available for the employees who work in Orange County?
As I mentioned, this is our number one crisis, and it is a combination of local issues and state issues, in our opinion. There is a law that was passed actually back when Ronald Reagan was governor of California. It was a bipartisan bill. It was called the California Environmental Quality Act. It had some wonderful intentions. It had some wonderful aspects to make sure that anytime we look at development, whether it's public projects or private projects, whether it's housing or highways, that we're looking at the environmental impact of these projects. But unfortunately, a lot of the provisions of that law, which we refer to as CEQA, a lot of those provisions have been abused to the point where it's increased the cost for us to be able to build housing. It has deterred a lot of the potential development that we could have, and it's just made it a lot harder to develop. So you have 2 components there. It's limiting the supply and it's increasing the cost. And we estimate just in the last 3 years, Don, we have added over $120,000 per door in just regulatory cost to be able to build a home in California. And when you impact that with the higher cost here of Orange County, whether it's the land or the labor, these are the issues that we're dealing with more from a state policy perspective that are limiting our ability to increase housing. So one of our big policy focuses is to look at a bipartisan reform of CEQA. As I said, that law was put into place many years ago on a bipartisan basis. We need to look at bipartisan reform. And over the last several years, we've seen instances where we've carved out exemptions from CEQA to be able to get important projects done. It's how some of our newer stadiums and arenas have been built in a timely manner to be able to get around a lot of that. We say let's stop going with the exceptions. Let's look across the board at this law and how it's abused. And we're not saying we need to ignore environmental impact, not at all. But let's take a more constructive look at how we can address those concerns and still be able to get the projects built that we need, whether it's in housing or transportation. Our focus right now is housing that we're talking about, but it also impacts transportation as well, and the ultimate cost to be able to do the work we need to do, whether it's expansion of the highways or transit. So all of this impacts our ability to grow, and it all impacts that quality of life that we want to make sure is part of that growth.
So how does the business council members work together on these policies?
So we have a housing committee that meets on a frequent basis. Part of that committee, we have a variety of different participants. We have representation from obviously the developer community. We have representation from the realtor community. We have public policy. We have nonprofits. We have affordable housing developers. Everybody coming together to understand these different issues and unite around the types of policies that we need to promote to be able to enhance it. It's a big challenge. I would say that our Orange County legislators, for the most part, get it. But it's a statewide problem, right? So we have to always be active in promoting the policies that will help to approach this issue. And in fact, we are taking a large group to Sacramento early next week, a whole combination of different interests, not just focused on housing, but a lot of the other initiatives that I mentioned a moment ago, to sit down and to meet with some of the agency heads, to meet with some of the committee leadership from throughout the state, so that we can express some of these concerns and some of the different solutions that we have. But the primary issue we feel in addressing the housing supply is to reform CEQA. And it's looking at supply across the board. There's a lot of conversation around affordable. Affordable is a relative term.
It is.
Affordable in Orange County is not the same as what it would be in San Bernardino County. So we have to really look at the overall housing supply as an issue and allow for the opportunity for development to go through in an environmentally responsible way. But as a state and as municipalities, we tend to dictate to our developers what to build, how to build it, where to build it. We want to open up that market, allow the builders the opportunity to develop what we need, put their own capital at work. If they get it right and they meet our supply according to where the demand is, they should earn a profit in doing that. And if they get it wrong, it's their own capital at risk. But we need to clear the way, open the path so that they can actually build and get us the supply that we need across the board.
Leading Educational Attainment for Families Initiative.
Oh, I love that program. So this is associated with the workforce side, Dawn, that I was mentioning earlier. And we look at workforce not just from the standpoint of workforce development, but also retention of workforce. So our workforce committee, just like we have a housing committee, we also have a workforce committee that has a variety of different representatives there from a variety of different organizations. It has a significant concentration of HR professionals who are talking about many of the different employment laws that they have to work through in California and how we can help our businesses be more effective and have the right policies and procedures so that they can maximize the benefits that they get out of the human resources that they employ. We also look at it from a development standpoint. And when I talk about economic development while enhancing the quality of life, a major component of that is looking at some of our lower income communities, which in the past have not seen as much opportunity to participate in the economic growth that's happening in the county. A lot of times it comes back to an education gap. And there was a study that was done by the Orange County Register over a decade ago that looked at the achievement gaps in education in Orange County. And it demonstrated that in certain ethnicities, in certain communities that are represented by those ethnicities, we saw a large achievement gap. And a lot of that focus was around performance of our Hispanic students relative to our white and Asian students. And so OCBC, with my predecessor working very hard, wanted to approach this and developed a curriculum for the parents that would go in and help the parents understand how the education system works, to help them see how education is attainable in Orange County, from the early stages of education all the way through community college and trade school and universities. It is achievable, and we want to see more first-gen students, and the result of that has been tremendous. We still have a gap, and we continue to monitor that in our community indicators study that we do every year, but it's closing a bit, and a lot of it is attributable to this LEA program, which we have now broadened and are offering across more districts throughout the county in hopes that more families will participate, more families will fully utilize the resources that we have in education, and we need that because we have a shortage of workforce. And if we can have deeper engagement in education, particularly in some of our lower income communities, and get them into our workforce, properly educated, properly trained for the jobs that we need to see filled, that's a win-win. That's part of that equation of economic development while improving the quality of life that we already have here in Orange County.
So what are some of the resources you provide?
So what we do is it's a curriculum which we recently revised, and it's we basically train the trainers and provide them with this curriculum that the districts employ. They put on evening programs usually at a district facility that the families can come to, and they can learn all the different components of education and how it works, the value of education, how the different structures work, how to understand report cards, and then also what programs are available, support, so that these kids can feel as though there is that opportunity to move on to get into community college. We work very closely with our community colleges and pursue dual enrollment, where kids can start getting college credits while they're in high school. It helps them get a head start. It also helps with building that confidence and that comfort level that comes with not making college seem so intimidating. And the last component of it is we have to recognize that not every kid is going to go on to Harvard. Not every kid is going to get that high-level score on their ACT. We're going to have those kids in the middle, and we're going to have those kids on the lower end, and there is opportunity for them too. So how can they pursue dual enrollment opportunities so that they can go on into trades or other programs that allow them to get a successful job in Orange County where they can live comfortably and enjoy this quality of life that makes our region so special?
Where are the workforce shortages?
When we think about workforce, Don, we really think about it in three main buckets. You have the very high end, which is your highly educated professional, bachelors, masters, your scientists, your lawyers up there. And Orange County actually has one of the highest percentages of population that has a bachelor degree or an advanced degree throughout the state. Only Santa Clara County has a higher percentage of educated population compared to us. And for businesses that are looking for talent at that level, there's ample opportunity. Right here at UCI, we put out incredible programs, great students graduating every year that are employable, that can fill a lot of those needs. We also have the lower end, which is our unskilled, lower skilled population, people in transition, maybe coming out of incarceration or perhaps coming out of military service, and they just need some of the core basic skill training. And we have some nonprofits that are doing an amazing job in that. Goodwill of Orange County is one of my favorite examples. United Way, another great example, that working with these people to get them basic skills that they need to be able to enter the workforce. Where we're really suffering is in the middle. And these are the jobs that don't necessarily require a 4-year degree, but require a certain level of training. As I often hear from our business operators, I don't need somebody who can design and build a machine for me. I need somebody who can run and fix the machine that I have. So this is where the trades come into play. And we have our trade unions do a great job in providing training around certain areas of manufacturing and construction. We have also community college programs that are doing well, and we have the specific trade schools. So whether it's someone that's training to be a construction worker or someone who's training to be a nursing assistant in a hospital, these programs are available, and that's part of what LEA is intending to do, is bring more people into the workforce with the type of skills and training that they need to be able to have a job opportunity. And the good news is, with the growth we have in this region, those opportunities exist. Those opportunities are there that we can show these kids and these people in transition that if they focus and achieve a certain amount of education and training, that they will have economic opportunity in Orange County.
The Community Economic Resilience Fund.
The Community Economic Resilience Fund is a statewide program which was initiated a couple years ago, and the change is it's now called the California Jobs First Initiative. So we no longer refer to it as SURF. But this was a program that was funded out of the CARES Act during the pandemic, a federal funding that came to the states to have them develop programs that can further promote economic development, and economic development that's focused on projects that can be resilient to economic cycles. So there are 13 regions of the state, and for this particular program, Orange County is its own region. Oftentimes we get looped in with LA or Inland Empire, San Diego. In this case, we're on our own. Orange County Business Council is the regional convener for this program. And so we are leading this effort to bring together many different types of organizations, business, nonprofit, agency, groups that you would normally not assume a business council to associate with, environmental groups, certain ethnic representation groups, all of us coming together to make a true assessment of our county and identify where there's opportunities so that we can then direct the opportunity of this funding to go towards economic projects that meet this criterion. But our desire is to take this program and to leverage it into more private investment. So as we find the opportunities in which we can employ this public funding, which is a great one-time opportunity, we want it to further evolve into additional economic growth opportunities that can be funded out of the private sector as well. So it's an exciting opportunity, and as a convener, it's an opportunity for us to really demonstrate our leadership in the county, having the ability to bring all different interests to the table to be focused around this concept of economic development.
What are the membership requirements?
To be part of OCBC, first of all, it's all of our members are businesses or organizations. And by the way, we have education in there as well. So individuals do not invest. It is organizations or businesses that invest. And we have certain rates for nonprofits. We have different rates for for-profits, and it really depends upon the level of engagement that they're looking for. For a business to invest at $5,000 a year, they're able to participate in all of our committee meetings that I described before. One of them or all of them. We have committees around economic development, workforce, housing, infrastructure. We also have a government affairs committee. We often bring in the electeds to talk about some of these issues that you and I have been discussing today. As an investor, you can participate in that. And then from there, there's additional investment levels that provide different opportunities for engagement. But just to be at the table, right? Was it on Hamilton, the room where it happened? That's where that investment level is at.
What are some of the benefits that you haven't mentioned that they can enjoy?
So one of the great things about the Orange County Business Council is our ability to bring different groups together. So first and foremost, a lot of people like to be part of the council because it's an opportunity to get to know a lot of the influential people in Orange County and where a lot of the critical issues are being addressed, where the opportunities are being addressed. And so you really have the chance to hone in on certain contacts, certain projects, things that you're interested in. So that's number one, is the networking. Number two, the information you can get. We have our community indicators report that we put out every year, which has a tremendous amount of information about the county that you can use either from an organizational perspective or a personal perspective in understanding the dynamics of our county, but also just through the programs that we have and coming to our committee meetings. There's so much that you can learn and understand about Orange County. We also have a very strong communications team. We have an email that we put out every other week that has great information about things that are happening in the county. In fact, I think the most recent one talked about this show and the fact that I would be here with you today. So we want people to be informed and understand the different things that are happening, and obviously the objectives that we're focused on, as well as we love to brag about our investors. We love to do that. So that's another thing. And then last thing I'll mention is our events. We put on great events. Just had our annual dinner last month in Anaheim. We had over 700 people there, had a great program focused on some businesses that have chosen Orange County for their growth and development. So that's just a few things that we do that really allow the opportunity for businesses, organizations, individuals to get engaged in what's happening in Orange County.
How does this business council compare to other ones?
We, other than that we're the best, you have councils in other regions, and by the way, we work with them too as we address these statewide issues. It's important that we're working with our counterparts in the Inland Empire and Los Angeles and Ventura County and San Diego. So we all work together, and there's little differences around each of them. I think the one thing I take the most pride in with what we've done with the Orange County Business Council is that regional focus with economic development and focusing all of our attention, bringing people around that common theme has gone a long ways in providing the type of coalition building that we really need to be able to address those issues. And I think it's a unique aspect. The other part of it is, we do a lot of the advocacy work. We're also an economic development engine. And in many regions, those are separated. Oftentimes, your economic development may be publicly funded, so they're a little hesitant to get involved in advocacy. We're able to do both. We're primarily privately funded, and so we have the ability to not only do a lot of the advocacy work, but also the focus on economic development. And I think it's very effective to have those two tied together. So that's a unique aspect for how we're doing it in Orange County.
Well, give us some examples of advocacy.
Well, we talked about CEQA that we're focused on. Another big issue for the business community is PAGA, which is the Private Attorney General's Act. In most every state of the union, if an employee has an issue with their employer, there's a state resource board that they can go to, a labor relations board, that they can voice their complaint and have it heard and have it dealt with. And the remedies to it go directly to the individual that was affected. In California, we do it a bit differently. We allow for private action to occur through attorneys. It ends up, just like we had with CEQA, it often gets abused. And sadly, when we get into the settlement provisions, a lot of that money goes to the attorneys and not necessarily to the employees that are affected. So we're looking to see reform on that because just like CEQA, we're experiencing a significant amount of abuse that's happening through that. And it's not really benefiting the employment community the way it was originally intended. We also are working very hard to protect some of our local funding. An example of that is, we have chosen to impose a sales tax on ourselves here in Orange County to directly fund transportation. And a big component of that is for us to have the ability to widen our freeways. The 405 was recently widened, and great project that has been completed. They're now working on the 55 widening. There's state limitations that are coming into play that are trying to restrict the ability to do projects like that, but that's what we chose to tax ourselves on. So it's preservation of that local funding and also making sure Orange County gets its fair share of all the overall funding opportunities throughout the state and also what comes at a federal level.
Why do you like being the board chair?
So I'm actually the CEO and have a volunteer board chair, and we rotate that chair every year out of the board. But I came into this position a few years ago after I retired from the banking industry. And one of the things that I loved about being the CEO of a bank was the opportunity to work with people, to help them identify their opportunities, to pursue those, to achieve, and often tackle some of the roadblocks that seem to come into play when they're trying to build and expand their business. This has been an opportunity to continue upon that. It's a second career for me, in effect. And it's really focused on being able to enhance what we have here in Orange County. Orange County is very special. I'm originally from the area. I've lived here practically my whole life. I care about the county. I want to see opportunities, and I want to see opportunities throughout the county. I grew up in North County, in some of those areas that I described as often not being able to see a lot of the opportunities that other parts of the county have been able to experience. I want to see this. I'm very passionate about our mission and what we do. It's fun to bring together different interests and get everyone focused around a common goal, which is our quality of life. And at the end of the day, whether it's a housing issue or an infrastructure issue or workforce development, these are all important things that are happening that are going to impact what Orange County looks like 15, 20 years from now. So it's exciting to be part of it and to have the opportunity to work with some amazing people.
What's the website?
Our website is ocbc.org, and on there you can get a lot of information from what I've talked about here with you today, as well as information on our newsletter and the many events that we have coming up. Our next event is on May 18th. It's our healthcare forum. And Orange County, we didn't even talk about the healthcare industry, Don, which we could have gotten into, but Orange County has become the nation's capital of healthcare, and we're going to have some interesting topics around the provision of healthcare in Orange County and how it incorporates innovation and technology and things like artificial intelligence. And, you know, we are blessed to have an incredible, robust medical community here that is growing and is going to provide even more job opportunities for the region. But we got to have the right workforce, and we got to have a place for them to live and easy ways for them to get to and from work.
Thank you, Orange County Business Council President and CEO Jeff Ball, for being on Impact OC. And I thank everyone for tuning in. I'm OC Talk Radio Public Affairs Director Don Camber. Have an impactful day.
You've been listening to Impact OC, the only program showcasing the people and organizations shaping our community. Right here on Orange County's only community radio station, OC Talk Radio.